All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 47. I can't believe it's the 47th episode of Beyond the Court. It's pretty cool. When I made that post today, John Ellis did text me, and he's like, "Buddy," he said, "it looks good." And I said, "Well, Ellie, when are you coming back?" I said, "It'd be nice to have you back." So he might be making a comeback here soon, Ellie. And we appreciate that. So hey, thanks for joining me tonight. Please share it, hit that share button down in the bottom left, get it out there, get the show out there, let everybody see what's going on here in Racquetball. We have a fun show tonight. We're going to have Dr. Tim Baghurst and Todd Boss. You know that we will be filled with statistics, facts, and information. We'll be talking a lot about rally scoring as one of the main topics. Definitely touch on the new rivalry. There's a new rivalry in our sport finally. And that's pretty cool. It's exciting to have a new rivalry. It's always been historically, it's been super important. And it's been something that's helped our sport through the years. So this is an official rivalry. I think a couple of you probably know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to that after in a little bit. So we'll have Dr. Tim Baghurst and Todd Boss with that. Mike Coulter from Three Wall Ball and the Beach Bash. A little update on that. He will make a cameo later on just to discuss what's going on with the Beach Bash. I'm excited about it. I myself will be there. I might be looking for a partner. Scotty, I don't know. My wife's playing 2 divisions. Veronica's going to be playing doubles with Kalani Bailey, and she'll be playing the pro singles also, and that's fun. So we'll talk more about that later. And then, of course, we have a little special that we're going to get to in a second. I'm not going to bring them in yet. But the high school national champions, the U.S. high school national champions will join us here in just a second. Josh Shea and Naomi Ross. And, I'm looking forward to speaking with them. But before we get to them, Scotty, I just want to say once again, I haven't spoken to you since the Vero Beach LPRT event, and it was just a huge success. It was awesome. The event on and off the court was great. We saw some history there. I had some amazing sponsors, Miller Value Partners, Patient Capital, stepping up to be the title and presenting there. Frank Hotels, Mark Frank, thank you so much again. I'm going to really hope I don't miss anybody right now. But Mike Curry and Performance Chemicals, as always, making it happen. Mike and Karen Grizz, Team Dovetail, Mike Kinkin, we appreciate that. Gene Fry, of course, for your support. Mike Amen, Cyrus Chenoy. There were so many of you that played a vital role in that. But at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that quite frankly, the tournament was kick-ass. And I could say that confidently. I can say that truthfully. We spoke with all the girls. And when any of you out there that are looking to do an LPRT event or IRT event for that matter, really think about doing a Saturday night final. It was a lot of fun. We threw an amazing party for the ladies. We had a bowling party where Dovetail sponsored, and we actually gave away $500 in prize money bowling. It was, the ladies went out there and it was just, throw the best game you could. Monse Mejia won, and Kalani Bailey finished second. It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. The ladies had a blast. I mean, there's a lot of video of them just laughing and seeing another side of them. But that was because of the Saturday night final, we were able to do that. So think about that moving forward. So anyway, with that, let's get to our first set of guests. Scotty Mack in the background. Thank you so much, as always. Scotty Mack, let's bring in the high school national champions, Naomi Ross and Josh Shea. You two need to unmute yourselves because I can see you're muted right now. Josh, you are now officially unmuted. Naomi, how are you? So first, I have to say to both of you, welcome to the club. I'm a fellow high school national champion, but you two weren't a thought at that point. So Naomi, we're going to start with you. Congratulations on winning the high school nationals.
Thank you.
I mean, that had to be pretty odd. What year are you in high school?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. That's when I won my high schools, and then I didn't play senior year, but that's a whole nother story. Josh, so what year are you in high school, buddy?
I'm a senior.
All right, so that was it. You're the best high school. You two are the best 2 high school players in the country. That's pretty damn cool. Did you go to school today? Were you at school today and yesterday?
No, I'm in a spring break, so I don't have school.
All right, so spring break, so you didn't get to enjoy it. Josh, what about you?
I did, yeah. I got in at like 3 a.m. Sunday night or Monday, and then I had to wake up at like 6:40. So
yeah, it's pretty funny though. It's a lot easier to get to school, isn't it, when you win a gold medal the next day?
Yep.
It's
Better.
it's pretty enjoyable. All right, so Naomi, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to start with you. You know, I know that you played an LPRT event. You played professionally in December. You've played some LPRT events. So how confident, like, what does that do for you as a player going into this event? I know you weren't the #1 seed, and I know you didn't lose a game. So, did that help playing professionally and then going to the event in St. Louis?
Yeah, for sure. You get more confident when you start like playing with the pros, and now you go to the juniors because the pro hurt a little more hard and that stuff. So it's a little bit more easier. And well, I have to trust my training. So yeah.
It's not a little bit harder. The pros are a lot harder. Josh,
Yeah, a lot.
so Josh, have you gotten to play some pro events, some IRT events?
Yeah, I played the Florida IRT, the Sarasota, and then I played the Wintergreen as well.
Okay, and
and Georgia too.
Cool. Okay, and how about you? Because I'm a big believer. I think that professional sports is kind of what drives that desire and motivation and really makes juniors excited to go play. I know when I was in your seat and I won the high school nationals, I wanted to be the best player in the world, and the high school nationals was just kind of a stepping stone to reach that goal. So Josh and Naomi, both of you, do you think that we'll see more of you on the pro tours coming up? Let's go with you first, Josh. Are we going to see you on the IRT playing some stops?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm definitely going to go to as many as I can, and I plan to keep improving my game and trying to get to the best level I can. And the 3 pro stops that I went to, I really enjoyed, and it's a whole different experience than a junior tournament, like you said, and it kind of makes you hungrier to go to more and to keep improving.
Naomi, how about you?
Yeah, for sure. It's one here in Texas, so I will be here, and I will try to go the most I can. And I get really excited when I have to play against the pros. I couldn't sleep.
That's awesome. Yeah. But let me tell you, and I'm sure your coach tells you this or not, but those feelings, that butterflies or the nervousness, that's a good thing. That means you care. So when that goes away, I could tell you both, that probably means maybe take a break, but you're far from taking a break. You're just getting started. And, Naomi, is there anyone you'd like to thank? Because that's pretty awesome. I'm personally super proud of you too. There's only 2 of you every year, and you are the current high school national champ. So Naomi, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, of course. I want to thank my parents, my grandma, my brother, and my sponsors as Flathead Accra, and my coach and Daniel, because when we were training, Daniel's give me a lot of tips and for the game, because he knows a lot of the game. So he's kind
All
of
right,
my other coach.
I know who you're talking about, but maybe tell everybody that's watching. Daniel who?
De La Rosa.
Oh, De La Rosa, that guy. Just Daniel. That's how close you are with him. Not just Daniel. Yeah, the guy that just finished #1 in the world. So that's pretty awesome, Naomi. And Josh, how about you? I know that there's a buddy of mine, one of the greatest of all time, that's been tweeting and posting about you lately. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, first off, my parents, my sister, and my grandparents, and then also I've been working with Cliff Swain a lot, and I'd like to thank him for all he's done, to help me with my game. I think he knows so much, and he's just like being with him on the court, I feel like makes me better instantly. And also Joe and Sam Kelly, because those are the 2 main guys I train with. I try to go down to their court like twice a week, so I get a lot better being able to play with them as well.
That's fantastic. Josh, what are your, I have a question, because again, when I was in your seat, I don't know what I would have said here. What would you tell junior players that want to win the high school nationals one day, and be the champs? What advice would you give them?
I would say try to learn from other people, but at the same time, don't let anyone stand in your way, and make it your thing to just be on the court every day getting better. And if you do that, it can happen.
Love it. Naomi, you have some pro experience. We will see you in San Antonio. Veronica's going to be there. It's a great event out there. We love that event. What would you tell some junior girls that, they want to maybe take that title from you or win it also one day?
Oh well, I will say like I will be in their shoes, and I lost like them, and I keep training, so it's always possible to get better and win. You just have to keep training and trust your training, and trust that you can do it. No, you believe in yourself. That's the mind thing in the mind.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Make sure you both work on your mental strength and conditioning, because as you move up and as the players get better, as the events get more difficult, the mental strength and conditioning is what you're really going to need. Obviously, the technical and physical, but like we say too, Josh, the physical, you get no extra credit for that. You better be in shape if you're going to be elite athletes. So, hey, I got a challenge for both of you champions. How about you go introduce two new friends to the sport?
Okay.
All
I
right.
will.
And send me an update. Just get them on the court. Don't try to take them away from whatever they do. Just say, hey, I just want you to come play with me. I'm the high school national champ. What do you think of that? And let's smack it around. So this is it. Last question. I promise I'm going to let you both go. Josh, what's your next 2 or 3 events?
I think I'm gonna go to like Northeast Regionals in Connecticut, and then after that, I'm gonna go to the Tier 1 in New York in May 2nd. I think it starts.
Cool.
So that's gonna be one I'm really excited for.
Great. Naomi?
I have one this weekend here in Texas, in San Antonio, and I'm not sure about the next ones. I think I'm looking for go to Mexico to see my parents. So that's why I don't know sure about the next ones.
Well, I know we'll see you in San Antonio. So, hey, both of you, once again, be super proud. Congratulations. Stay humble. Never be satisfied. And, we'll be seeing you winning a lot more titles at all the levels. And hopefully maybe the U.S. team once. Maybe we'll see you competing for the U.S. team spot. Naomi, are you playing? And Josh, are you guys going to play in the Nationals?
Yeah, for sure.
Super cool. Well, I will see you both there then, because I'll be playing too. And hey, I just want to say thank you so much. Make sure you thank your parents. All right. And like you said, Naomi, your grandma, abuela, abuelo, whoever it is, Daniel. And, thanks again. And maybe I'll see you again here on the show after another big title. Congrats again. Great job.
Thank you.
See you two later. Josh is going to hang out there, I see, but Scotty Mac, we're going to make a little transition here, and we're going to bring in our next 2 guests. And those 2 guests, most of you know. I know, Scotty, I see you're working the system here. We'll get it up right. Give him a second. We're going to bring in Dr. Tim Baghurst, and we're going to bring in Todd Boss from Pro Racquetball Stats. Don't mind the graphics right now. We're fixing that. It's going to take a second. Scotty and I we've been off for a little bit, but I know you can hear me. Can I get in the camera? Let me see. What if I do this? There he is, Dr. Tim Baghurst.
Hey, how are you?
Todd Boss. All right, there we are. So, Doc, how are you, sir?
I'm well. It's been 3 tournaments and 3 weekends in a row, so I'm looking forward to a little break.
Yeah, you've been traveling a bunch. I saw you, recently. Now, Todd, are you actually in Vegas right now? You're muted, by the way, Todd, which is rare.
Yeah, I was muted from a work call earlier today. No one wants to hear me speak, so I just stay muted on purpose.
Yeah, well, when we speak, you're never muted. We both get to speak offline. I'm really excited. Thank you both for being here tonight. There's a lot to discuss, and both of you have the knowledge to discuss this, and that's what's really cool. So I'm going to start first, but I want this to be a conversation. Like the 3 of us talk offline a lot. So let's have a conversation. Let's discuss things. We'll get to the main point, which is the rally scoring. We're going to talk about that soon. Todd Boss, I know you have new statistics, those 2 great new high school national champions to go into the record books. Pretty cool. I love seeing that. But Dr. Tim, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Baghurst. and Todd, of course, you can, interject here. Do we officially have a new rivalry in our sport?
We'll see. We saw Herrera win in Vero Beach over Longoria in two really close games. And I think it's fair to say that in Boston, game one was won by Herrera pretty comfortably, but most would have said that Longoria should have won game two and taken it to a breaker. Now, this is the first time, and Todd can confirm, I think, but for 10, 12 years that Longoria has lost two straight to a player. We've now got 5 weeks, 6 weeks before San Antonio. That's a long time for somebody to kind of prep. Longoria really didn't have much time to really recover from Vero Beach and then go to Boston. And I think Herrera was just continuing the form that she had in Vero Beach. Now the question will be what happens in the next 5, 6 weeks? Who's going to put in the work? Who's going to really get to it? And we'll find out in San Antonio whether we do have a rivalry.
So you're not committed to the rivalry. Todd, what do you think?
If you had asked me this question, obviously 3-4 months ago, when Herrera was a career 1 in 30 something against, the two players ranked ahead of her at the time, Vargas and Longoria, I would have told you I thought that she had plateaued as a player, and you could kind of see it. She beat the players that she was supposed to beat, and she struggled to even come close, often getting completely blown out against Vargas and Longoria. Here's what I've seen in the last couple of games. The two matches that she just played and where she beat Longoria. And this is my preface to whether or not I think this is a rivalry. I see a distinct change in Herrera over what we've seen in the past. She is playing very, very clean racquetball. She in one of the games in Vero Beach, she made one error in an entire game. Just 20, 25 winners, just one skip. Constantly putting pressure on the ball. And the change that I see is not only is she not making errors, but she's getting balls that she didn't used to get. She's not giving up on rallies. Maybe that's a fitness factor. But you saw that again in Boston. She had a couple of more errors. Like I did a deep dive match track into game 2 because it was such an amazing game.
You did statistics? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't just have opinions. I have evidence-based opinions, Sudsy.
All right, let's hear it. Easy. This isn't this. Hey, Doc, this is not a political show. We just go ahead. What do you got, Todd?
But all right, so in game 2, where she had the amazing comeback, just to give you an idea, Alexandra had 19 winners and 3 errors. That's 6.3 winners per error, whereas Longoria had 21 winners to 6 errors. So double the skips in the game, and it ended up making a difference. But the point is still the same. Herrera is not missing, and she's always making that one extra shot. And oftentimes it would result in an unforced error coming out of Longoria, and that's the game. It's 15-14. So do I think it's a new rivalry? I think I agree with Tim. I want to see it. I want to see it happen again. Like when I did my predictions for Boston, I didn't think Herrera was going to beat Monty, because that's a bad matchup for her career wise. But I was proven wrong, and she made it to the,
I didn't think so
the final. Did it again.
We talked about that, but we know Monty. I mean, never excuses. The two of Monty was dealing with some physical things, but that's besides the point. I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. I think it is a rivalry. I think that, Doc, you and I spoke prior to the match. You asked me what I thought. And I quite frankly told you who I thought was going to win the game. And Todd, I know you have the stats, and we're going to talk about rally scoring in a minute. But that match was not close. I was talking to Monty Mejia about an hour ago. And, she took her to a tiebreaker, Alexandra, and Monty wasn't feeling great. And I was kind of telling Monty how she actually didn't play terrible. She had a good game plan, but Paola goes up 12-1 in the second, and we're talking about the greatest of all time in Paola, right? On the women's side. But from that point on, including the first game, it wasn't close. And the reason why it's a rivalry, it's not because Alexandra beat her 2 times in a row. Let's go back to the time they played before that as well. Alexandra lost 11-9 breaker.
Yeah, great
It's
match.
because I think now Paola, and I've been there, she's looking at this as, oh man, I got to deal with this now. And all of a sudden, this isn't a one win and you got lucky. Let me tell you something, because even losing 11-9 sometimes is a victory. And Alexandra wasn't happy with that loss in Chicago at 11-9. Now, Doc, nobody's more front and center than you. Tim, Baghurst is the guy. He's front center in the glass. I'm a big, big believer of the see, the smell, the feel test. Todd, I love the numbers. It's actually mind blowing, but sometimes somebody with ADD like myself, I get lost a little bit in that. But I want to know, Doc, what are you seeing and feeling courtside? I know what I'm seeing and feeling. What are you seeing and feeling?
Herrera's confident, right? She trusts her game, and she's built it on her ability to shoot, and as Todd alluded to, be able to play without making unforced errors. And when you can shoot and keep it clean, you're always going to have a chance. The difference, though, for me is that she believes she can get balls back that she never believed she could get back before, and she did it this weekend, where we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she got that. I can't believe she hit the floor to get that. We never said that. So she really believes that she can. The only concern, not concern, but the question I have is that we as players can be streaky, and we can go on a hot run. And it happens in tennis a lot, where some player will come through, and look at Raducanu last year in the US Open, right? Went through and just blazed everybody out, and has been highly inconsistent since. So this is a 2-week period. And if you look at something like a US Open, that's a 2-week period. Now, the question is, if she can do it again in San Antonio, maybe not even beat Longoria, but maybe make it real tight, then I say, okay, now we've got a rivalry. But if Longoria comes in and just handles it, well, maybe it was just you had a sweet patch. Longoria had a rough couple of weeks for reasons we don't know. Admittedly, I don't think she played her best racquetball in Vero Beach. I don't think she played her best in Boston. It wasn't her typical confident self.
Yeah, but how much of that is it accredited to Alexandra's play?
No, I don't think. I think it was through the tournament. I think Holly could have beaten Paula this weekend. I mean, if you go back and watch the match, Holly had opportunities to really put her foot on the gas, and it was close in both games until Paula ran away with it in the last couple of points. I think that she just, Longoria just didn't play as well as she could. I think Herrera played amazing in both finals, and I think in both weekends, really. I want to wait. I want to see what happens in San Antonio. That's the big question, and I think it's a great for fans, because we're going to find out. I hope those two.
I'm sorry, but I know I'm the guy in the room that always raises his hand and kind of pushes back, but I'm still calling it a rivalry. So Todd, nobody, again, you don't get enough credit in the sport for everything you've done. And I appreciate that. And I know the sport does, statistically, it's amazing, because without you, nobody would have ever done it. And that's why I believe you belong in the Hall of Fame, but that's another show. We'll talk about that another time. But, how about statistically? What can you give us statistically that you see, to Mr. Dr. Baghurst's point here? I like calling him Doc. I like that. It's official. I call him Tim, but I'm starting to go with the Doc. So everybody out there, he is a doctor. Let's go Doc. So what I like that Doc is, what I want to know is statistically, Todd, are we seeing anything, that screams it's not a rivalry? Or to Doc's point, Paola just wasn't playing good and she skipped X amount and our short serves, blah, 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 blah. What do you see?
What I see is when I look at the two performances, both in Vero Beach and in Boston, I see several points of concern for Paola, frankly. For one, in Vero Beach, Longoria basically played her normal game. She drove serve, she mixed up her drive serves left and right, and what we normally see out of her is, a very controlled drive serve, and she kind of controls the matches, and she doesn't shoot for corners. She just tries to hit passing shots. In fact, if you go back and look at the Vero Beach stats, she almost never tried to go for pinches. Everything was just drive serve, pass, trying to kill the ball, right? But she just missed a few, and she loses a game 15-14. Cut to 2 weeks later in Boston, she didn't drive serve. She hit, well, at least not in game 2. And Tim, in the broadcast, if you go back and you listen, Tim is just like, she's interesting, because she had this kind of like this half height Z serve that she was hitting, and she ran out to a 12-1 lead, right? She didn't abandon it, but what was interesting is that she did try to start mixing it up a little bit, and she went away from it when Alexandra started to get points again. But also more to the point, the shot selection that Paola took in Boston was a lot more varied. She took a lot of shots at corners. She didn't rely on passes. She clearly listened to Fran Davis, probably got some advice to try to mix up her game, to try to throw off the serve, whatever. But if I'm her, I'm concerned because she just basically got beaten at her game that's been winning her for a decade, and then she mixed it up and wasn't able to close it out. One other point I'd like to make. Do you guys remember what happened at 12-1? How did the comeback start? It was a soft avoidable hinder. In fact,
wait, hold that thought. I got to read a comment. Jordan Walters, Sudsy, do you think the poor refereeing and lack of knowledge of rules plays any factor into some of these recent matches? LPRT and IRT have terrible replay penalty hinder calls. I've seen it firsthand. So let me jump in on that. First of all, it's disgusting. There's too many avoidables or looking for avoidables. It's got to stop. It has to stop. But I think it starts with the player. Okay? You have plenty of room. Shoot the ball, take the shot, learn to get better, execute. Our windows as professionals should be that wide if need be. And then as the level goes down, your window gets bigger. But they're like begging for calls nowadays. And I'm not talking about Alexandra and Paola. I'm just answering his question. No, I don't think that plays any role in it. I just think it's something that needs to be addressed and fixed. And one of the ways is stop giving avoidable hinders. In fact, when they stop play, call a side out or a point and say, you had plenty of room. You had all the court. So sorry, Todd, go ahead. So it was 12-1, you said, and there was a soft avoidable. They're all soft avoidables.
Well, this one was pretty egregious. Like Tim on the broadcast was just like, I can't believe they gave that. Essentially, Alexandra went up to move it to a shot. Paola had clearly cleared the way. There was no, maybe you would have said, okay, that's a safety. Maybe she was worried about hitting her with a backswing. Interestingly, Alexandra wasn't begging for the penalty. She kind of went back. It's not like she stood up in the court like expecting to get a penalty. She appealed though, and both line judges overruled and gave the avoidable. And Longoria was just kind of like, what was that? And that was the turning point. That was 12-1 up. Alexandra in that right before that point, she had just flipped up a lob serve for a first serve. The only time the entire game that she didn't drive serve. Clearly, she was going to try to conserve her energy for the tiebreaker. Suddenly, 8 rallies later, it's 8-12, and it's game on.
Well, that's a perfect segue into where we're going to go next. So let's talk about that. First off, congratulations to Alexandra, Paola. You're the greatest ever. We all look forward to this. Personally, I hope it's a rivalry. I think it'll be great for the sport. And rivalries have always been something that the fans and the sport itself has latched onto and paid close attention. So we will all be doing that for sure. Now, the big topic of discussion, rally scoring. It's out there. It's a hot topic. We're all talking about it. I'm going to have to compete in it very soon to be part of Team USA. So, Doc, Mr. Baghurst, can you please explain to the viewers exactly what rally scoring is and what it's going to look like moving forward in the sport of racquetball?
And let me backtrack real quick and just say kudos to anybody refereeing a final of any pro match, because it's horrible.
Agreed.
It's really hard. And, yes, we're going to have calls that me as a commentator disagree with. That's my job to say what I think. But the reality is that, we forget the 99 other calls that were accurate or supported by the line judges. So, let's I've been in those shoes and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So
Let me just add to that, Doc, before you explain rally scoring. My mindset, and both of you know me well and how I've gone about my career, and what I tell the players I work with is, if it's 10-10 in the tiebreaker and the ref makes an awful call and you lose the match, the ref didn't lose the match.
no.
The coach didn't lose the match. You got it to 10-10 and put yourself in a position. That's what I love about racquetball, right? We talk about, the psychology of it. It's accountability, responsibility. I look in the mirror and say, hey, Doc, I wasn't good enough. What do I need to do to get better? It was 10-10. Yeah, Todd, you missed the call. I rolled it out. You called it a skip. Doesn't matter. I don't blame the ref ever. Go get better. Go figure it out. So, Doc, I agree with you on that. So go ahead. Yeah, explain exactly what rally scoring is and what it's going to look like for our sport moving forward.
Right. Well, we don't know what it's going to look like on the national level, even on the pro level, but internationally, the International Racquetball Federation, the IRF, have moved to rally scoring, which is essentially every time somebody serves, somebody wins a point. Think volleyball, think table tennis, think badminton, where this happens. This is normal. You could even argue, think tennis, where the same thing happens. The difference in tennis is obviously you accrue a game as serving, you're the only one serving. International Racquetball Federation, their technical committee met and decided to switch to rally scoring, where it will be the best of 5 to 15, I believe, where you win by 2 in the first. No, you win by 1 in the first 4 games, and if it goes to a 5th game, you have to win by 2. That's an interesting one, win by 1 and then win by 2. I don't know any sport that has developed a rule like that, so that's fairly unique. But this is what the IRF said they want to do moving forward in this year. Now, what they've also asked to do is encourage people to try different rules, different formats over the course of this year across rally scoring to determine what is the best way to do rally scoring. But rally scoring will be here to stay, primarily because if you go back to the Pan Am Games in Chile, there were a lot of matches that were extremely long. And I think the Pan Am organizers weren't happy with the length of these matches. They can't be realistically calculated in terms of length. And so when you think about broadcasts and so on, it's hard to determine how long these matches are going to be. Rally scoring limits the amount of scoring you do. You can predict how long that match is going to take.
All right, so great explanation. Todd, I know you've done some extensive research, and Doc, I'll get back to you. You actually hosted an event just last weekend or 2 weekends ago that was rally scoring. So Todd, I'm going to ask you flat out, and you and I speak frankly. What are your thoughts on rally scoring?
I think rally scoring is a solution in search of a problem. I think that I don't see any reason why they needed to make it in their explanation document. And I'm going to read you the IRF change announcement, and I'm going to read you the sentence. And then we can talk about the individual points. The main reason for this move to rally scoring is that many times our matches are too long in duration. That negatively affects the feasibility of televising. So just stop right there. So do they have a television contract in place right now? I wasn't aware. So, you come to me with a TV contract where I need to be able to limit the time and stick to a schedule. Maybe I'd be in favor of rally scoring. But again, they don't have a TV contract. This is a solution in search of a problem. In addition to negatively affecting racquetball in the Olympic chain tournaments with the extensive number of days that are required to complete all the matches. Okay, the world championships that just occurred was in Guatemala, right? It was at a 8-court facility. Is that right? 10 court.
10 courts, I think. 10, right?
10 courts over 8 days is literally 1,000 court hours. And you're telling me that you can't finish a tournament with 25 men and 28 women in 1,000 court hours? That's patently ridiculous. If you want,
that's what happens when you have 1,000 divisions.
They don't have 1,000 divisions. They have men's, they have women's, they have singles, and they have doubles. They want to add mixed doubles.
Well, that and junior, yeah, no, they already added mixed doubles.
Okay. Additionally, we know the general public often does not understand racquetball and becomes lost and confused trying to follow our scoring method. So by all means, let's just change the scoring method that we've used for 40 years, because that won't be confusing at all. Okay. So let's go back and let's talk about the match duration, because what's notably missing here is any statistics to talk about average match. So guess what I did? I went through.
Can't wait.
I went through and looked at, here are some statistics from the men's singles draw from the World Championships that just exited. There are 25 players there. They played 33 round robin matches, 24 knockouts in the main draw, and then because they had to play all the way from 1 to 25 for World Games, they played an additional 29 knockout matches out of there. Okay, 86 total matches. Out of those 86 total matches, in the round robins, only 7 of the, let's start with the round robins. Only 7 of the 33 matches with the tiebreaker. Okay, so if we're talking about matches that are too long, we're talking about tiebreakers, right? Only 7 of 33. That's less than 20% of the matches with the tiebreaker. Okay, 10 of the 33 matches in the round robin, the loser scored 10 or fewer total points. Okay, if someone loses a match 15-3, 15-6, which is 10 or fewer points, in rally scoring, that match is going to take 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Furthermore, another 10 of the 33.
Wait a minute, but is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's not a good thing. That's the whole point.
Wait.
If you want to talk about, if you want to talk about match durations, okay, I have a tiebreaker that goes an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, that's a great match. Okay, then you know, then the number 1 seed comes on and he trashes some guy from Eastern Europe, 0-1, and the match takes 2 minutes, and boom, you're back on schedule.
It doesn't work like that though, Todd. Not at the international level. I know exactly what you're saying. You know, we can kind of joke of oh, Kane will get us back on schedule, or Paolo get us back on schedule with a couple of easy wins. But you know, being at IRF events for, I don't know, 7 years, we're getting home at 10 p.m. at night because of matches running long and backing up. And that may happen in the early rounds in the round robins, but as soon as you get into some of the more, you know, the later rounds, it just doesn't take that. It's longer than that.
There's just, for me, you know, and admittedly, I have not been to an IRF tournament, okay, but 8 days of competition, and they have off days, if depending on how many players are in the round robin, and then they take a day off in between the round robins and the knockouts, and there's 1,000 court hours. Like, I don't understand how. How you're not getting this tournament done, and you're worried about time.
We're skating around it. There's off days. It's money. There's so many things that I'm just not going to get into right now. And I'll even go back to what I believe the reason the rally scoring was. And I'm not going to put, you know, Dr. Baghurst in a position where he has to pick a side here, because he still is active with IRF. But my own personal opinion, and from what I've heard, is that, you know, Todd, and I'll throw this at you, is that the Pan American Committee in Chile wanted to speed it up, and they kind of demanded that we go to rally scoring. And if we don't, we will not be in the Pan Am Games. And many will argue, I am not one of them that will argue that we have to be, but you know, that we wouldn't be in the Pan Am Games if we didn't do that. So I think sometimes we kind of get pressured into doing things that maybe we don't like, maybe we don't agree with. And I, for one, you know, I haven't commented yet on whether I like it or not. But, you know, Todd, what was interesting to me is we spoke about it. And then, Doc, I also want you to tell us about your event you held. You know, Todd, you did some studies of what ifs, right? You did some games and matches of rally scoring. And, you know, one of the other things, one of the matches you brought to my attention, which I thought was cool because I was involved, was Kane and I versus Alvaro and Daniel in Chicago. And the first game was 15-14. So if that was a rally scoring match, and that was one game, I'm pretty sure the crowd loved it. I think it took probably at least 30 minutes, I would assume. If that was rally scoring, what does it look like? Do you have that?
Yeah, I've got it up right now. So that oh no, actually, hold on. I had the other stuff up, but not that one. Hold on.
Okay. So while you find that, Doc, Tim, I'm going to ask you a question. You're a coach also. How does it change coaching, and how does it change the player and their approach?
Right. Yeah, we got to be careful about extrapolating non-rally scoring games into rally scoring matches, given the fact that they weren't playing rally scoring. Right.
Wait. Can you say that again easier? As Malia Bailey tells me, I'm a Belgian Malinois, so I'm kind of like this right now. So say that again one more time.
We've got to be careful about using numbers in a non-rally scoring match to then convert it into, well, if it was a rally scoring, because it wasn't a rally scoring. And the environment is different. And that's one of the things that the feedback we got from the players in our rally scoring tournament last week was the mental challenge of rally scoring is so much higher because you can't take a point off. If you're in a service box and you don't roll that ball out, you skip it, well, whatever, you side out. I didn't lose anything. As opposed to, I lost something now. I lost a point. That's 1 point I gave away from doing something stupid. And it changes the way people have to play. They have to be more conservative as opposed to going for bottom board all the time, because I'm going to give up a point if I skip this ball. And again, I'm not, my goal here isn't to say, well, we should do rally scoring, we shouldn't do rally scoring. I'm telling you, rally scoring is here. Now, if it's here, let's encourage the IRF to use rally scoring that provides the most entertainment, that provides a sensibly long match, that gives us something where we go, okay, that's watchable. That's I think one of the reasons why we did our tournament in Tallahassee, is to collect data, to say, here's what we found. So I don't know if you want to see some of the data I've got, I can share it and go into that. Scotty Mac, can you do that for me? Okay. Hopefully this is from, and I got to thank Statman Asher Baghurst for this, because he collected stats all last weekend in Boston.
He's solid. He's solid.
He knows his stuff. He did a really good job. But here are the matches that he collected with the time. So I looked at time and total points, and then how much time per point. So we're looking at an average over these matches we collected on the stream. We're looking at an average of about 49 minutes and 30 seconds per match. Total points 53. And we're looking at about 55 seconds per point. So not per rally, per point. So every time you get a minute per point, basically.
So let me say that for the crowd here. So per point means the ref calls the score 0-0. The point is then played. You win the point, the server. It is now 1-0. We start the second point. That's when the clock stops. So all of that time in between.
No.
Okay.
No.
So tell us how that works.
When the ref adds another point to the scoreboard, it usually takes an average of 1 minute. So we've got some side outs.
So that's too long, in my opinion.
Well, this is what we had in Boston. Yeah, I mean, but you're thinking 1 minute, 1 minute per point. I'm telling you, this is 1 minute per point scored, which may have involved 3 side outs.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the average. So you can expect if we're playing points, you're looking at a minute per point on average. Yeah. So if you're playing to 15, if you're playing to 15-14, you're looking at a 29 minute game.
Yeah, and that's about consistent with the stats that I came up with. I came up with an average time per rally of around 38 seconds for that.
How do you guys sit there and come up with this time? That's impressive. You guys are awesome.
Well, it's been really consistent. The 3 or 4 matches that I've done, it's so the men's singles match that I did between Kane and Paria was about 34 seconds per rally. And by the way, that includes all the timeouts, all the appeals, all the wiping the floor, all the.
So I took timeouts out of mine because each match had a different number of timeouts.
Yeah.
So those were just pulled. If you look down, Scotty, if you can go down to Boston and Vero, what I did is I looked at, okay, in Boston, we had 23 matches. In Vero Beach, we had 20. We had 55 games played in Boston, 48 in Vero Beach. 16% were tiebreakers in Boston, which is the most I think I've ever seen. It was really competitive in Boston. 8.3% were tiebreakers in Vero Beach. And then I looked at, okay, how are they winning games? And we saw only 6 games in Boston were won by 2 points or less. So 15-14, 15-13, 11-9, but 10 games, 20% were won by 2 points or less in Vero Beach. So you look at that and you go, well, average, it's about 15% of games are actually close. And I think that's important, because if they're not that close, somebody is kind of pulling away. Does that create entertainment for somebody watching? Oh, it's 11-2. I'll come back in, 5 minutes when the next game's on. Kind of
All right.
thing.
Well, but to that point right there, and Todd, we talked about this as well. The comeback's over in rally scoring.
Okay, let me finish.
Okay.
I've got some info on that. So looking at Longoria Herrera in the final, Longoria scored 7 points without a side out, and Herrera scored 5 points without a side out. So if you're playing a rally scoring to 11, she got 7 without anybody scoring a side out. And then in rally scoring, so I looked at when there were side outs, what happened? Did she get back in? Did she keep going? Longoria had a 10-1 run if it was rally scoring, and Herrera had a 9-1 run if it was rally scoring. And then I extrapolated it out, and if it was rally scoring, Longoria, I got it wrong. It's Herrera. I'm sorry. I put Longoria. Herrera wins 12-10, 11-8, 8-11, 11-9. So you look at those, you go, wow, those were close.
But the new rules are 4 games to 15 if necessary, tiebreaker to 11. So
right, I'm going to 11 because that's what we did here in Tallahassee, which I'm going to get to in a second. And then if it was rally scoring, the match would have been only 11 rallies shorter. So not exactly. I mean, Todd said 38 seconds or something. So we're talking about what, 6 minutes? 6 minutes shorter that match would have been if it would have been rally scoring 5 games to 11.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Okay. So Scotty, can you switch over to our tournament, please? So without kind of belaboring the point, I went through and looked at all of the rally scoring matchups that we had over the course where they had 2 serves, because we did a series where they only had 1 serve, and then we did a series where they had 2 serves. And if you get down to the bottom, the average length of each game, we made them play 3 games to 11. We didn't do best of 5, was 9 minutes and 23 seconds. All right. The time per point was 32 seconds. So about half the time of non-rally scoring. We saw about 13.5 drive serves and then about 6.6 lob serves. So on average, they're serving at about 65% in on their first serve, because we were looking at, should we have 1 serve? Is there value in 2 serves? Does it take
Which is awful,
long?
by the way. And you know how I feel about that. Go get better and get your first serve in. Play with one, play with 1 serve. But
yeah, you're a proponent of 1 serve, and here it's showing that it changed by player, but you're looking at on average about 65% first serve in. Are they good serves? That's debatable. We only saw about 2 aces per game, and what was interesting was the average length of the drive serve rally was 4.14 shots, including the serve. When it was a lob serve, we saw 5.19. So we actually saw when they went to a lob serve as a second serve, the rallies actually increased by 1 shot on average.
yeah, because the returner is probably a little more defensive. And they're, whereas if you blast a drive serve at me, I'm probably going to attack it or hope it comes off the back wall, be more offensive. Whereas if you hit a lob serve and I'm deep, I might go to the ceiling. But, but here's the question, Todd, and I want to get to that. And Doc, these stats are amazing. There's no doubt.
I'm almost done. Let me finish my thing and then he can. Okay. Scotty, if you can scroll down, please. Just down to the gray area. Thanks. So if you look at, this is what the time would look like. And again, I pulled out timeouts because we only allowed 1 timeout.
That's what I want to know. Go ahead.
3 games to 11 was 38 minutes. 4 games to 11, 51. 5 games to 11 is 64. The other thing that I really found interesting were in the men's games, 7 out of 18 of the games were won by 2 points because you had to win by 2. In the women's 50% of the games were won by 2 points. So you're looking at 44% of the games they played finished within 2 points, by 2 points. And when we talk about our matches close, if we flip over to Boston and Vero Beach, we see not many tiebreakers or not many games won, 15-13. But if you look in rally scoring, you see that a lot of them are real tight. And that was kind of an interesting finding for us.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I'm sorry, I got to stop you right there. But that doesn't make it a good thing. Like what? So if there's a superior player, but now change the rules and now it's closer, is that what we're trying to do? Like, all right, this is a question for both of you. What's the point of this? What are we doing? Why?
Why are we doing what? Collecting
Rally
data?
scoring. Rally scoring.
Rally scoring? Because the IRF said it's happening. But so research has been done in volleyball, right? Because volleyball didn't always have rally scoring. So they did research on rally scoring as well. And what they found, and I think this is still consistently true, they found that it didn't matter whether it was rally scoring or regular scoring like we have in racquetball, the better player won, the better team won.
Good.
But what you might see is that underdog might grab a game because you're playing to 11. And so they go on a hot streak. And we saw, Mania won 6 points in a row. She was down 4-6, got it to 10-10, won 6 in a row, and then actually went and won the game in our tournament. So the comebacks can happen if the games are short. And I think IRF, if you go to 15, that may be too long. If you went to 21, there's no way. You're not going to see comebacks. But if the games are short, then it certainly creates that opportunity for a comeback.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So Todd, we do have to move along here. Kane's actually texting me through this and he's completely against it. Doesn't get it. Why are they changing this? I want to know from both of you though, do you think, the stats aside, but first I have a question. So Doc, so the matches are kind of the same length of time as non-rally scoring? Is that
they're a little shorter.
A little shorter, not much.
I think if you went to 15 instead of 11 like we did, I think you'd have pretty close, pretty comparable. You're looking at an hour a match.
Okay. Todd, this is a big deal because yes, Doc, to your point, the reason that we're talking about this and the reason it's happening is because the IRF, who's the International Racquetball Federation, who, quite frankly, 95% of the viewers and players never compete in the IRF. But here's what's going to happen. The Pro Tours are going to switch to it. USA Racquetball is going to switch to it. And it's going to become the new way that we score our sport. Otherwise, we're just continuously complicated, which wouldn't surprise me either. So, Todd, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I don't know. I didn't like it when the IRT went away from 3 out of 5 to 11.
Neither did I.
Is it? I'm on record saying it's a solution in search of a problem. Is that just because I don't want to change and I'm old, or am I not seeing the forest for the trees? If you're texting Kane, by the way, tell him that if
he's watching,
if they were doing rally scoring in that tiebreaker he lost to Andre, he would have won 15-10 when the score was 6-3 his way. So it matters. Kane lost that tiebreaker. He lost that match. If they'd been playing rally scoring, it would have been over. Yes, I understand that, if you're playing rally, you're taking timeouts more quickly. Your strategy is slightly different, but the point remains that tiebreaker, which I think all of us neutrals thought was pretty freaking amazing. That was a 49 rally tiebreaker to 11, won by, in an upset of the greatest player in the world. And it would have been over at 6-3. So what problem are we solving here again? All we're doing is we're neutering and we're losing these fantastic comebacks and these fantastic matches. So that we can save a few minutes because of some yet as unknown TV contract or because the Pan Am Games wants us to have more predictability? I don't get it. Why don't we just make all the matches to 5? Let's all fly 1,000 miles and have everybody play one game to 5, and then hey, there's your winner, and it fits, and it fits into that time schedule. Yeehaw!
Yeah, Todd, well said. We're going to close it out here because we have another guest waiting in the guest room. But you know what Kane just said, Todd, to that, because he's watching? He said, I'm happy with the way it is, and I would not want to change it based on that. Perea played better than me that match. Why take that away from him? So I get it, though. Doc, we're going to close here, but I do. I think it takes away that exciting comeback. I think that, that 12-1 down that Herrera was in Boston is not happening. I think we can look at that statistically, that game is over. I think that, we really didn't talk about, and I think we can do another show another time, how it changes coaching, how it changes the player. I don't think the players will adjust. We'll adjust. We'll figure it out. We'll act accordingly. I've always been one that's prided myself in my game on every point matters. So I don't want to take a break, but I'd be lying if I didn't say, hey, I took a break here. I was up 10-2 and it was okay in that moment, or down for that matter. But Doc, I'm gonna call you out right here. Is it good for our sport? Yes or no, in your opinion?
I think it could be. Is it where we are, what we have right now? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're there yet. I go to the fact that Boston and Vero Beach had an average of 12% tiebreakers, which means most of those matches were pretty routine. So yeah, we do get the odd exciting tiebreaker. It's fantastic, but most matches are routine. And then I go, and we, in our Capital City Classic, we had 45% of them were 10-10, 40 or 11-9. For me as a commentator, I was really into that because it's tight and one point is crucial, right? This next point is crucial. And so from an entertainment point of view, I was entertained by lots of 10-10s. I was real interested on who's going to get 13-11 or 14-12. So I think the jury's out. I think we need more data. I don't know that we've solved it by the IRF just saying, here's what we're going to do, and we'll see what happens. But I want to have an open mind about it rather than just saying, let's not do this. It's a bad idea.
Well, gentlemen, I think that having an open mind here on Beyond the Court is the biggest, definitely one of the main things we want to do. We also want to be able to speak freely. I definitely want to have you both back again. There's so many topics that the three of us can share and discuss with the racquetball world and community. A lot of viewers may not know, but you two are super involved. You do a lot for the sport. Todd, you're on the USAR board. You're on these committees. Doc, you're a full-time professor at Florida State, and the endless hours you give to the LPRT and doing the commentating. Thank you for that. Don't ever stop doing that, both of you. And you've both become friends. Tim, when I first heard you, I was like, he's a little boring. I don't know if I like him. And then quite honestly, you've grown on me. I think you're the best announcer that the sport has. You're the best commentator. And I look forward to sitting next to you in the booth. And, I appreciate what you do. And you've also highlighted what I believe is the professional approach that our sport needs, and to talk about what's in front of us. And you're probably better than anybody at that right now. Not probably, in my opinion, you are. You're the best at talking about what's in front of us. And I watch all sports. I watch the big UFC fight Saturday. I watch tennis, baseball, everything. And the best announcers talk about what's going on. And I appreciate that, Doc. Thank you. I'm a fan, and I look forward to commentating with you for sure here moving in the future. Todd Boss, again, you belong in the Hall of Fame, brother. You've been around many, many years. You'll have my vote when your name is on that ballot. What you've done for our sport is incredible. And anybody that knows me, this isn't a kiss-ass moment of the show. I'm going to tell you guys how I feel, and I appreciate what you've done. And, I hope you do it, because if you didn't do it, nobody else would, and we wouldn't have all these incredible stats. So Pro Racquetball Stats, Todd Boss, thank you. And what they don't know is you do actually have a full-time job and you're super busy. So, both of you. So Dr. Baghurst, Todd Boss, thank you. We're going to get to the next guest. Hopefully you can stick around. We're going to talk about the 3-wall ball beach bash in Fort Lauderdale. Todd, Doc, thank you so much. Have an amazing night. I'll probably be texting you here in the next few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudsy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. All right, Scotty Mack. So now I know Scotty, that was amazing. I could talk to those guys all night. They have so much info, so much knowledge on everything, and it's so extensive. What they know about the sport, ins and outs, behind the scenes, it's pretty amazing. And I wish we could share all of that. And in a second here, we are going to bring in our next guest. And our next guest is Mike Coulter. Mike Coulter is with 3-wall ball and the Beach Bash. MC, what's up? Mike Coulter. We have Mike. MC, I spoke to you earlier. It's always great to see you. You're on mute. Unmute yourself real quick. Oh, you're muted.
Unmute.
There you
How
are.
about now?
You're good to go, Mike. Hey, thank you for joining us, MC. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, one thing I want to say, since you just got done with the stat man, I got 2 things that I want to bring up for 2022. 2 things that you've done for the first time in your career. That was refinish a floor on a racquetball court that you've always played on. And you ran your first pro stop, all in the second month of the year of 2022. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I have to be honest. You were the first person to call me when you saw the picture, and you said, "Hey, I'm calling you. Put a mask on," because it was. And you were right. That night, MC, I slept, and it was like I was loaded with stuff in there, and I did wear a mask. I appreciate that, but our friendship is for many, many years. What was the first pro stop you ran? What year in Vegas?
93.
93.
Yep.
So
And
yeah.
I did basically satellites before that in 89, 90, 91, and 92, where I still had most of the pro tour just started back up with Hank and became a full IRT tour again. But before that, for a couple of years, the tour was in limbo, and I still had a bunch of the good players in Doyle and Aaron and Drew and Brett and all those guys still playing. So I've been around for a long time.
No, you're a fixture in the sport. Anybody that knows anything knows, what you've given and what you do for the sport. And, it's pretty cool how now you've taken on this new role with outdoor. You have the amazing event in Vegas in October, which if you haven't been there, everybody, make sure you get there. I mean, MC, when I was 19, you remember all you had to do was say Sudsy Vegas, and I booked the flight. I didn't even know what was going on. You were like, Vegas. I said, okay, let's go. But, there's this amazing outdoor event you have. Tell everybody, tell us about the 3 main events, and most importantly, when we get to it, about the Beach Bash here in Fort Lauderdale in a couple of weeks.
Well, 3-wall ball is we're partnered up with all 3 events this year. We're doing Beach Bash, we're doing Huntington Beach, and we're doing Vegas 3-wall ball. Vegas 3-wall ball will be October 26th through the 30th. Huntington Beach will be the 14th through the 17th. And as we're coming up to Beach Bash in a couple of weeks, it'll be the 24th through the 27th at Hollywood Park down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yeah, I've been to all 3 of them. I love them all. I wish, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll start going to all of them every year. Let me ask you, though, MC, of the 3, what's your favorite? Which outdoor event is your favorite, and why?
Well, obviously, 3-wall ball's got a lot of passion in it from building the club from the ground up. I tried to recreate the atmosphere of the sporting house that you used to come and play on and won a couple of your national championships at when we did that, and having the excitement of being here in Vegas. Going to Huntington Beach is fun being there because you're outdoors. And then the fact of being down at Beach Bash, I've been there once before, and I'm helping Vic out by taking over a little bit more of a role this year to make it continue on. So, I just love the being outdoors. I was indoors for all those years. I used to do graveyard racquetball tournaments here in Vegas. So I've always been used to being indoors, but the outdoor stuff was really it. And it really got to me when we went down to San Diego and put a little racquetball court on the aircraft carrier with Stephen Harper for MRF, and go, wow, if they can do this one, I can do a bunch more in a parking lot, and I can recreate a club like the Sporting House, and we could have hundreds of people play once again. Back in the day when you came to the Sporting House in the 90s, it was regularly 500 to 700 people there. And you guys would come in on Tuesday afternoon and start playing and doing stuff on Tuesday night, do a sponsor doubles, do some other things, and then start out in the round of 64, which I know you love so much, and then have to play all the way until Sunday. So and it still gave you some great times of being here. Vegas is, I'm lucky that I live in Vegas, and it gives everybody a great opportunity. Even if you don't play as well as you want in the tournament, there's still so many fun things to get to do while you're here. And I mean, hey, as you've seen over the last couple of years, there's been more and more pictures popping up of your guys' youth of being here in Vegas with you, Cliff, Jason, Ellis, Todd O'Neill, Drew Catchstick, Brett. I mean, a bunch of these guys, Jerry Price, all these guys that used to come out, Hogan being around. So it was pretty amazing what that was. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be able to be doing some stuff again. And I love doing the outdoor stuff. It's just a great time. And I'm glad that I can give something back to the sport that's been so good to me for so long. Basically what you took a break for a few years and you've come back and, you feel the excitement there of enjoying. I wish I could play at the level that I played at, and I can't because my knees bother me. You know what it was like. It was tough. You probably walked away for a little while because your competitive juices were there, but physically it took a toll on you for some years and you had to step away and you got back into coaching and doing it all again. This is a lifelong sport. Friendships are made and, doing stuff and you have a great time with it. So I'm just glad that I can give back in the small way of coordinating these 3 events here now and doing something to raise the level of outdoor racquetball.
So yeah, so the next outdoor one, the main one here is going to be the Beach Bash, and that's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the famous Garfield Beach Courts. I've been there; it's super cool. It's one wall. I can tell you, the first time I ever went there, Mike, I couldn't keep the ball on the court because I'm trying to hit the ball 1,000,000 miles per hour, and it just keeps flying out. Now, one of the super cool things about this setup is that the courts are here and the beach is right there. I mean, you could mishit a ball and it just lands in the sand, and I've done that. And it's an awesome event. So are there still openings? Because I know that the entries were closing, that we were reaching the max. Can people still get in?
Yeah, we got about 195 in there. Our maximum cap is 200. And there's a couple people that are still needing partners. Hint, hint. A couple people still need partners. But we'll leave it at that. So yeah, there's a couple. We'll be doing it and figuring out the draws to make sure to partner the last few players up until probably this weekend. But 200 was really our limit of where we can because of the limited court hours. But we still got a couple people that need to get partnered up and hopefully draw somebody in as a good partner. Like so. I mean, as you asked, in the men's pro singles, there's going to be 18 players. In the men's pro doubles, there's 21 teams. In mixed pro doubles, there's 15 teams in there. Women's pro doubles, there's 8 teams in there. And in the 40+ doubles, there's 10 teams in there. And that's not including all the amateurs that are there. I mean, I can give you a quick list here in a minute of some of the top pros that are playing, but a lot of the indoor players that want to come out and give this a shot. One of the things that's real neat we added this year too was the ladies LPL Financial Cup, and then we also did the KWM Men's Cup. Both of those companies were generous enough to partner up with me and threw an extra $3,000 into a kitty. At the end of Vegas, there's going to be a bonus of $1,500 for first, $1,000 for second, $500 for the third place player that finishes on top of the prize money they win at each one of the events. Beach Bash is going to have about $16,000 in prize money. Huntington's got $16,000 in prize money, and Vegas will have $30,000 in prize money. So we're trying to raise the bar for the outdoors. I mean, hey, it's still not enough for these kids that are playing pro racquetball to be making a living, but we're trying to have a good time with it, and it's we're getting more sponsors wanting to come on board and do some stuff. So for that, I'm thankful and having a great time. But I'm glad you reached out this last weekend and Veronica was able to come back, and she's got one of the girls called her and said, hey, I need a doubles partner, and then she wanted to jump in the singles, and I'm busting your chops to say, hey, why aren't you guys playing mixed doubles? But we all know the problem when husbands and wives play doubles together, it's not the best thing to do all the time.
No, somebody's got to watch the kids, MC. I
get it. Hey, I get it. I get that part.
Listen, I spoke to Landa, we're going to play in the national doubles in May, and he just can't make it. But, I know my buddy Kane's watching. Maybe Kane wants to come out, and him and I could play a little outdoor doubles on the one wall.
Hey, the good part is you guys can even jump into our CPRT division because you're both old enough now, too. How about that?
Hey, it's up to him. I know he likes Florida. Yep. I know he likes fishing. So, hey, Kane, if you want to play, just text me, and we'll text Mike, and we'll get in there.
There you go.
I know. Let's just say hi to Mike Kinkin, Team Dovetail. He says they're going to be there. Team Dovetail, Mike Kinkin doing a lot down there. You mentioned KWN, Keith Miner, always, Randy Root. These guys are super, helpful. And MC, you know what I love? I love that bonus structure because you remember when we were playing, in your indoor tournaments, remember Penn used to do those there was like a lot of different bonus categories that we could compete for at the end of it. And it's interesting because, like you said, Veronica's going to go play the women's singles. She's got a great doubles player in the pro doubles in Kehlani Lawrence. If they do well, she might be kind of
motivated to go down to Huntington Beach. Yeah, you want to go to Huntington Beach, you'll definitely want to come to Vegas. And the good part is, hey, we were able to do this outside the tours. The tours need to be able to do it as well, but we just created it. We had a smaller version of it with the Humber Cup in years past, but like I said, Roscoe was good enough with LPL Financial to jump on the women's side, and Keith was good enough with KWM on the men's side to throw some money in. And there's also an added bonus too for the first place finisher on each side. They get a 2-night suite stay at the Stratosphere to be used anytime throughout the year as well. So it's a nice little added bonus. It's not, hey, it's not world shaking, but we're trying to give something back to the players, show the appreciation for, getting out there and playing a bunch and putting on a show for everybody.
Well, MC, that's awesome. And, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate, everything you've done and continue to do. And I'll do everything I can to make sure that, I can help promote and do whatever it takes to make sure we keep racquetball out there and everybody. But before I let you go, Jim Carson, he just commented, what are the dates? Give us the dates of Huntington Beach. But with that, give us the dates of all three. First, Beach Bash.
Absolutely. Beach Bash will be March 24th through the 27th. Huntington Beach will be the 14th to the 17th of July. And Vegas will be the 26th through the 30th of October. And in Vegas, we're also going to have a Halloween costume contest on Saturday night to throw a little added stuff in there because it's on Halloween weekend. And when you're in Vegas, there's a lot of adult themed parties to go to as well. It's added fun along with all this other stuff that's there. So, hey, come on out and have some fun, and the good part is with all these going on there, like you said, I mean, there's so many players that are coming out and playing and having a good time. It's a party atmosphere. And, the difference is you got to see the last couple of times you come out and, you came to 3-wall ball and sitting there, you're yelling at your buddy on the court that's next to you. You just told me he had a great shot and he's telling you, why did you miss that shot? And then you go back to playing your match as opposed to being in the fishbowl. So I appreciate you giving me a time to talk about it tonight. Hopefully we'll get back on before Huntington Beach. We can do a recap after. Hey, if you do, I know you're going to be there. Why don't you plan on setting something up and do a little show recap maybe on Saturday or Sunday down from Beach Bash, and we can get on there for 5 minutes. JT will be there streaming it all weekend this year at Beach Bash. And, we're going to stream the other ones. So, hopefully we can jump on there too, and you can set up a time for you to promote and do the Sudsy show from Beach Bash if you got time.
If Scotty Mac can do it, Scotty Mac, I know you can. If you can set that up and Scotty Mac's available, MC, we'll definitely do that. I'll be there for sure. So, MC, Mike, thank you. So just so everybody knows, MC, his name is Mike Coulter. MC is how we all know him. We love him. So, MC, thank you so much. We will we'll definitely get back on, and I promise you we will do promotions for Huntington and Vegas prior to, no doubt about it. All right. So
absolutely. Thank you very much for the time. And once again, congratulations on success on doing some new things this year with court refinishing and putting on a pro stop. Good job. Thank you guys. Appreciate being here. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. All right. So Scotty, how'd we do? Can you hear me, Scotty? I think so. All right. So it's that time, and we're going to close it out. We're going to get ready for episode number 48, whenever that is. But before I go, let's talk real quick. The IRT, the Pro Tour, they have Chicago this month. They have an event in California and an event in New York, which is great. So things are moving along. The LPRT, San Antonio next month. Then in May, they have the Sweet Caroline in South Carolina. That's a Grand Slam. And then they close the season in June, the LPRT, at the Supermax Slam. Team Root, Randy Root, just doing major things. So there's a lot of good things happening. USA Racquetball, they have the national doubles scheduled in College Station, Texas A&M. I'm looking forward to competing. I'll be there playing national doubles, hopefully to get a spot on the US team with Alex Landa. And most recently, super excited also because now there's a mixed doubles for USA team qualifying. We'll be playing mixed doubles internationally. I'll be playing with Kehlani Lawrence. So I'm excited about that. That'll be a lot of fun. looking forward to that. It's happening. Before I say goodnight to everybody also, Erica Mania texted me right before the show. I was going to try to get her on. It's a little too late, but Team USA is doing some fundraising. They have a Pan American Championships in Bolivia in April, and the funding isn't there to get the team there. There's a budget every year that's set up for international competition, and unfortunately, it's just not there for the Pan American Championships in Bolivia. So Erica and a couple of the current team members are looking. They've started a GoFundMe. Scotty, I don't know if you have that link. If not, I'll post it in a comment on this when we're all said and done. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Scotty. So Scotty just posted the link. Anything you could do to help Team USA get to Bolivia would be great. And I know they would all appreciate that. Erica, Kaylani, Alex, Jake, everybody else, hopefully that helps you out and you can get down to Bolivia. With that said, I did speak to Kane. I know a lot of people want to know, Chicago, is he going to play in Chicago? He doesn't know yet. It's up to him. He's going to do what he wants to do, but he loves it. And, he's not going anywhere. Him and I have the experience in Vero Beach where we get you for the weekend, April 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you're interested in that, shoot an email to contact@Kane and Sudsy, and you can come hang out with Kane and I for the weekend. And we can definitely show you a couple of different things on and off the racquetball court. So until next time, Erica Mania, you're very welcome. I see you. The GoFundMe's there. Go hit it. Go do what you can. They appreciate that. Erica, will have you on the show soon. To all of you watching, to all the racquetball players, to all the fans, to everybody, to Naomi and Josh, to all you high schoolers that just competed, thank you. Continue to play racquetball. Continue to love it. Continue to support it. Do what you can. If there's anything I can personally do, Veronica can do to help you, we will. We love the sport. We're coming back. We're not dead yet. We're going to keep going. And thank you again for all your support. Thank you for motivating and inspiring me. And I'll continue to do everything I can on where I'm at to motivate and inspire you. Have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you in episode 48 of Beyond the Court. See you.